Buenos dias. Bonjour. Good morning. So if you've been following along with these Emerald Tablet readings that I've been doing, where I just kind of put the title and, there's always a reference to Thoth, the Atlantean, in regards to Atlantis and the Emerald Tablets and what have you. You may have noticed numerous references to the Halls of Amenti. So there's a document that I have that's by way of explanation called the Halls of Amenti, which is the abode of supreme truth, knowledge, and wisdom. And this is a document from the Great White Lodge, Great White Brotherhood, Galactic Federation of Light, what have you. All the same people, all the same group of ascended masters, Christed extraterrestrials. But this document is entitled The Halls of Amenti. And so I just kind of wanted to maybe, before I did there's two more sections from the Emerald Tablets that I'm going to read and post up. And anyway, I thought this might be timely just to kind of offer as a more insight into what those Emerald Tablets are all about. And this is a quite lengthy document. I just kind of wanted to skim through it, and maybe some key points that stick out to talk about. But there you see the first entry, Adam Kadmon. I think that's also it's referring to, as the galaxy name, obviously you can read for the human form, nearly all extraterrestrials in this galaxy are the Adam Kadmon type, meaning you would not be aware of them moving among you, which they very often do. Talking about life that was birthed from other star systems, other planets. But being the human template is an omniversal, is a universal template for life. Although it's not the only template. There are many exotic, and to our eyes, and to our human eyes, forms of life. Forms of life. I also think Adam Kadmon is a Kabbalistic term. It means something like universal or cosmic universality. But there's more knowledge, layers of knowledge behind all of these terms. I only have certain aspects that I'm familiar with. I'm still, I'm a student on the path, a chela, as they say. That, and actually CHELA, chela, is a term that will be identified and explained in this document. Chela, as opposed to a chohan. Chela means like student, like a adept on the path, and a chohan is like a master, sort of ascended master. But anyway, Adam Kadmon, I believe that's also like a Kabbalistic term and refer like cosmic universality type thing. So which ties into the definition that it's nearly all extraterrestrials in this galaxy are Adam Kadmon. So it's a universal cosmic template of life, the human template. And then we have some reference to Admiral Byrd, and it's pretty fascinating information, really. His expedition to Antarctica, legendary polar explorer, U.S. Rear Admiral. I'll just kind of touch on some of these. You can read all that if you want, but surface dwellers verse, which he predicted would culminate in the death and destruction of most of the surface civilization. Anyway, it's pretty fascinating rabbit hole to investigate what's going on in Antarctica currently. That's basically, anyway, I'll just leave it at that. If you're interested, I would Google Antarctica and portal. Stargate or what have you, or hidden operations, because they're definitely kept it hidden from us, the operations. Our government, all the governments of the world have had assets up there in the Antarctic region. Anyway, moving on. Adonai is the universal name for God, and the standard greeting and goodbye among the Christed races of this galaxy. That's what I'm talking about, Christed extraterrestrial. Most life on Earth is very unique. And the mission, or what Earth has been in its conception, what it was all about, is very unique. But this is stuff for the uninitiated type of person that you should become accustomed to, because there's life on this earth is just, a sampling and representation of a vast, magnificent example of life that's all throughout the many universes throughout that God has created. Our God, our creator source, is so great. And the true sin is to try to place limitations upon our creator. And we do that when we try to say that my way is the only way, or be, human egocentric, thinking that the only life that can exist is life that's according to our definitions. But we see that we're still at a very infant stage, humans. We still freak out because somebody has a different skin color or has a different accent. So humans, by and large, we have a maturing. We have a maturing process to transcend all these superficial differences to take our place in the galactic family. That's just my observation. So anyway, Agarthan network cities of Agartha. Agarthans, ancient Christed race of beings inside the earth. The Agarthans are 1,000 times more advanced than the surface race, whom they refer to as the surface dwellers. The Agarthans look perfectly human and often move among you in small numbers, gathering data and conducting benevolent research for the planet. Aging, growing old, and feeble is unnatural and one of the many symptoms of a fallen race of beings. That's us. Hello. Christed beings on Christed planets do not grow old and feeble, but retain their youth and vitality indefinitely. Furthermore, Christed beings on Christed planets are not required to die and reincarnate, but frequently choose to reincarnate in other worlds, so as to continue the onward and upward evolution of their personal ascension. Yes, it's an affront to God, to our source, to stay at the same level of evolution when there's so much vastness and intelligence and variety that's to be explored. So always onward and upward, folks. Always onward and upward. Agnostic, a confused fool. There's a reference to AIDS, and I mean, you should know that a lot of the things that have been presented on this planet, this life on this planet left untampered with, everything our creator source provided for us here. It's only this turmoil and struggle is because of the mentality and that. But as you'll see in this document, there's explanations for why things have been as challenging as they have been on this planet. Earth is essentially referring to the libraries of the Akashic records. Earth is essentially a round magnet with a north and south pole. You heard Thoth the Atlantean, Thoth, Thoth. I've never, I've heard it pronounced different ways, but you've heard Thoth talk about, actually, I think in the last Emerald Tablet, he was talking about lying with head to the North Pole and feet to the south. So this is all very important. Electromagnetic field that runs between the north and south called the plenum. I've also seen that term plenum in Gnosticism. The Gnostics have used that term plenum. However, unbeknownst to your earth scientists, the Earth's plenum contains a vast holographic electromagnetic library known as the Akashic Records. Every action which has ever taken place on Earth, no matter how small or large, is perfectly and permanently recorded on the electromagnetic grid. Akashic Records. When the electromagnetic there you go. You can read that. It's fascinating. I want to kind of skim through. I don't want to get bogged down, but alchemy. Alchemy. Okay, here we go. Also known as white magic. Alchemy is the science of manipulating the universal substance to create or dissolve anything in existence. Our dimensions, on dimensions 4 through 9, nearly everything is made by alchemy. And we are in the third dimension here in this life that we all universally, the consensual reality that we experience on Earth is of the third dimension. Those are higher dimensions, obviously 4 through 9. Amenti, the Halls of Amenti, is a school, stargate, and cosmic energy vortex located in the exact center of the Earth on the astral plane. In the Halls of Amenti, you will find a great assortment of ascended masters and energy beings teaching and tutoring rising ascending masters who have qualified for training in the Halls of Amenti. Amenti is also the supreme energy vortex of this planet and greatly sustains, upholds, and repairs the planet in every way. Students of Amenti are taught the ultimate mysteries of time, space, alchemy, and the 9 dimensions. An unascended human could not enter the Halls of Amenti without being destroyed by the much higher vibrational frequency of Amenti. Only the highest ascending humans can enter the Halls of Amenti, and this serves as a perfect self-regulating device, which is no accident, and perfect self-regulating devices such as this exist throughout all worlds, times, planes, and dimensions of God's omniverse. God's omniverse. Antichrist. The forces of darkness opposing the glory and light and Earth's ascension, embodied individually and collectively as Caligastia and all agents and allies of the Dark Lodge. Arcturians, some of our star neighbors, highly advanced fifth dimensional Christed race of ascended masters, star system Arcturus. There's reference to Area 51, secret underground U.S. military base in the Nevada desert. Rogue military, Area 51 is a rogue military base covertly run by the Illuminati, secret government, Dark Lodge Alliance, the Cabal, Deep State. Area 51 is a renegade military base that secretly and illegally uses billions of black projects of the Illuminati, secret government, Dark Lodge Alliance. And there are several more of these evil underground military bases in existence. Reading this, I just want to say, I hope that the scales of ignorance, and ignorance maybe is a harsh word, but the sleepy dust in people's eyes are starting to fall, and they're starting to clear their eyes, because this whole government in the United States and around the world, but speaking, I've never, kind of realized that, looking at the John F. Kennedy assassination, I kind of realized through my readings and stuff, and certainly after 9/11 in 2001, there's a writer that I was exposed to. His name's Webster Tarpley, and he has a book that I read called 9/11 Synthetic Terror, and I read that book probably back in 2010, 2011, but I already kind of listening to Alex Jones and whatnot, I already kind of had a questioning mind about the narrative that was presented on the news areas. But, just wanted to share that, when I was reading these terms like government, Dark Lodge Alliance, Cabal, because deep state, I believe, is a phrase that's associated, people that are big Trump supporters and all that. And, I just wanted to kind of I guess I'm not very political, unless, because I really see it as where there's an institution where there's so much still conflict and strife. I just shy away from it because I don't want to be drawn into that. And I was in the past, and I certainly had been in the past, certainly around 2016. for that election. I was pretty vocal about everything, but my life began to change. Anyway, enough of all that. Okay. Final battle between sinister Dark Lodge, Illuminati, secret government, Armageddon. Only the most spiritual people will survive the battle of Armageddon, because they will have divine protection, and together they will establish the seventh golden age of enlightenment on Earth, substantial help and assistance from the Agarthans and Christed extraterrestrials. Yes, we all get by with a little help from our friends and the Ascended Master, one who has successfully passed all the challenges, trials, tests, and initiations of the seven rays of Earth. I would imagine, degrees 1 to 7 are unascended souls. Degrees 8 through 13 represent 6 levels of ascending teachers. And degrees 14 through 76 represent 62 levels of ascended masters. The 76th degree is the highest level obtainable for ascended masters in this galaxy. Ascension Process. You may have heard, New Earth Ascension, Earth is changing, 3D, third dimension to 5 dimension, 3D to 4D to 5D. So the Ascension Process is the sole purpose of life in the cosmos. All right. I'm going to end it right there, because read that the sole purpose of life is consciously, eternally, that's the sole purpose. The Ascension Process is what we're here. That's why we're on this earth. This earth is a classroom. It's a series of lessons set up for us and our soul contracts to fulfill and to experience and to gain perspective. That's what the earth is all. That's what our experience on this planet has been all about. Having families and children and legacies and all that, and then they turn into like little kingdoms and then empires. And that's if once you taste a little tiny bit of the infinite cosmos and the infinite intelligence, once your crown chakra opens and connects to the galactic chakra, and then you're connected and understand infinite intelligence, and then you see that this is the illusion, this planet. Why, once you understand just a tiny fragment of what the true nature of reality is, and it's important to be grounded and invest in your worldly pursuits, but that in and of itself is a trap, and unfortunately there's the people that have been invested in that type of being, thinking that gobbling up power and maintaining and perpetuating their power, and I wouldn't want to be in their position, let's put it that way. And as far as where they've made decisions for their souls where they've completely shut off, to live in that way, like the way that the Illuminati and the reptilian, Alpha Draconian, all that model of power that they've created, it's very ego-based and it's very limited, and meaning that it cuts. They've turned away from Creator Source, and their ability to do things and whatnot is limited, because to get to the higher realms of like quantum, gnosis understanding, it takes a certain like the vibration of a person's human matrix goes hand in hand with the type of divine gnosis that they're exposed and able to approach, understand, incorporate, assimilate, is all tied with your vibration. And so thinking that this third dimensional reality and locking it down like the archons have done, and the Anunnaki and the reptilian, all that whole little group, they had their little day in the sun and or in the night, however you want to look at it, but it's over with. And anyway, it's really, I guess where I was going with that whole thought is, if you're an expansive person with a quest and a thirst for knowledge, why would you, in knowing, once you realize how vast the omniverse, God's creation is, how much variety is there, I don't understand why any thinking person with a thirst for ultimate knowledge would want to only just stop at like the third level when there's like 12 levels, and that I know of. And that may seem like kind of, like, oh yeah, whatever, Mark, yeah, you're a goofball, you peed on an electric fence when you were in third grade, your brain is a little messed up, so we're not gonna listen to you. But anyway, that's what the Halls of Amenti are. The Ascension Process is the sole purpose of life in the cosmos. The purpose of life is to consciously and eternally expand your knowledge, wisdom, power, talent, and light quotient. It is the highest insult to God, to Source, to our Creator. It is the highest insult to God to remain as you are, incarnation after incarnation, with no change whatsoever. That is not life. That is death. The Ascension Process is not so popular on Earth because this is a fallen planet. Excuse me. This is a fallen planet ruled by ignorance and materialism. But even on a fallen planet, the spiral staircase of ascension is there for those who have the courage and determination to climb it. Namaste. Namaskaram.